This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to our Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at American Falls. But before that, this video is brought to you by Gizmo UK and Doughboy2913. Thank you for being farm barons. So the American Falls map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu, and as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now, I do understand that there is a cross-play version of this map coming out, but as of this release, at the time this video is produced, the map is for PC players, and the reason for that is this. As the map is released today, there are 3 custom scripts in the map, and we all know that custom scripts are not allowed on console. Thank you, Sony. Thank you, Microsoft. Second, this map is making use of multi-terrain angle. Again, another reason why it cannot be on cross-play maps at this moment. Let's read you a little bit of the description. Now, the top of the description gives you a bit of a kind of background of the story, kind of maybe setting the stage, a little bit of a plot as to why you are here on the map. We're not going to go through that. You can go ahead and read that part of the description yourself. Again, linked down in the description below. On this map, you'll find Anhydrous is built in. Now, there's a note that says works with precision farming. I was looking in the map, and I was looking for the information around the script that I know the Anhydrous add-on mod uses in order to hook anhydrous ammonia into precision farming as far as working to increase the nitrogen levels. I didn't see any scripts or anything that looked like that, so I am going to suggest that you add the Anhydrous add-on mod to this playlist if you are playing this map. That way I'm pretty sure then Anhydrous will 100% work with precision farming. Mud system is also available if you do have the mud mod enabled. 4 new custom crops in alfalfa, rye, flax, and clover. New corn textures by Benji FS. Soybeans have been set up in rows. It says start from scratch and farm manager have been added. I'm not really sure what that means, but I can tell you that if you load this map up in farm management or start from scratch, you will find the majority of the farms not built out aside from the animal areas. Cows and pigs are set up to produce manure. 12 custom farm places have been added. 8 selling points. Propane as a fill type has also been added to the map. Now, when I was looking around, I didn't see how we were to use propane in the map. I didn't see any production that required propane. I didn't see any placeable production that required propane. The working theory is propane was added for players that may wish to add drying mods, like the corn drying add-on mod. Although I'm pretty sure that mod includes propane itself as a fill type. So I'm not really sure if that was needed to be added to the mod. Maybe there are drying mods out there that don't have propane in them. And I would say that's really a fault of that mod, because if that mod requires a fill type that is not built into the game, I feel strongly that it should be built into that particular mod. There's 1 bale sell point, a log sell point. Alfalfa silage bunkers have been added to select farms. So when you are going to put silage into a bunker, make sure you're putting it in the right one, alfalfa or chaff. Brand new models, building models designed by Lancyboi himself. 49 fields, 2 productions have been added. Height types are done. Not really sure what that means. Multi-terrain angle, seasons visuals. The Elm Creek collectibles have been added to the map, and this map also has 2 required mods in the American fermenting silos, and the pickup header pack are required. Let's go ahead and load on in. We are going to use the mods we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, as well as precision farming. And in addition, we have the American fermenting silos selected, as well as the pickup header pack. As I mentioned earlier, if you load this map up in farm management or start from scratch, you will find the farms that are pre-placed on the map are not fully there. It seems like the animal areas are there, but the placeable individual farm buildings, they are not there. They are ready for you to put down yourself in those areas. In new farmer mode, like you're going to see here, everything is built out. Now, when you load into the map for the very first time, you start here at your farmhouse, which is a trailer. And something else to note is you do not own any land, or at least the land you do own is not farmland, nor is it farm fields. That's what I'm trying to say. Farmland as in land with farm buildings on it or fields. Let's go ahead and take a look at that PDA, and we'll see exactly what we do own at the start. Taking a look at our lands area, you'll see that we start out by owning basically the sell points. The sell points predominantly are what we own at the start. They are all tied to farmland ID 76, and well, they can be sold for $685,000. I haven't tried selling them. Might go ahead and try to sell them and see what happens here. Looks like we got ourselves some money. By George, we got ourselves some money. I'm going to go ahead and buy them back just in case we really need them for some reason. Now, also, taking a look here at our lands area, there are several farms pre-placed on the map. Farmland ID 26 is what I'm calling an old arable farm. I think you'll understand why I'm calling it that when we get down there and take a look at the buildings. That can be bought for $135,000. Farmland 42 right here consists of some forested area, some trees, as well as a single shed and a silo. That can be bought for $219,000. We have a sheep farm at Farmland ID 24. That can be bought for $164,000. We have an arable farm at Farmland ID 28. That can be bought for $97,000. So far, that is the only farm that we can afford without taking out a loan, but it's not going to leave us much with respect to money for starting vehicles and equipment or fields, unless we're going to be taking out a loan. We have a cow farm at Farmland ID 56, and that is going to run us $293,000. We have a pig and chicken farm at Farmland ID 71. That's going to be $250,000. Then we have a whole fleet of greenhouses up here at Farmland ID 25. That is going to cost us basically $29,500. Now, there's a couple other interesting areas here, and I'll point them out during the fly around. But we have Farmland ID 80 and 81. There may be other plots like this scattered around as well, but 80 and 81 are kind of in town. They have buildings on them. We can buy them for $50,000 and $25,000 respectively, but the buildings don't seem to do anything. I thought maybe they were production, and if I bought them, then I would have production available. Nope, nothing pops up. If you buy the lands, if you buy and own all the productions, nothing pops up as far as triggers or anything for those sections. As best I can tell, the buildings that are there are possibly placeholders for something coming in a future update. Otherwise, I really don't know why we would have viable lands with buildings on them that we can't get rid of that also don't really serve any other purpose. I mean, I guess you could buy it, put down the sell everything dump grate, and then make a sell point out of that area. I suppose that would be a possibility. We do have a BGA that can be bought for $130,000, and that is going to be located right here at Farmland ID 40. This map does include all the standard crops available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we have flax, rye, alfalfa, and clover. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. The farmland lease screen is going to show us all of the viable farmlands, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included. Then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us? You see the vast majority of these farmlands are going to be in the couple $100,000 range. Farmland 50, which includes field 42, is $1.4 million. We also have the same for Farmland 66, and Farmland 67 is also topping the $1 million mark. And if we take a look at our field calculator screen, this is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. See, we've got some medium-sized fields here. Looks like the largest fields are 39, 42, 47, and 48, and 49, anywhere between 10 and 14 hectares in size. Taking a look at our crop counter, we do have a custom crop counter available to us here in American Falls. We also have growth schedules for flax, rye, alfalfa, and clover. Take a look down through our prices screen. We do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us here in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we also have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk, as well as our silage, hay, straw, and grass. As we continue to move down through our base game production items, you will see that we also do indeed have the ability to sell all of the base game production items as well, which is always a good thing to see. You'll see we do have the ability to buy bulk lime, and we also have a stone crusher available to us, or at least a place to get rid of our stones. Now, as far as sell points for other custom fill types, propane, we have a propane buy point. We have flax straw, as well as sell point for flax itself. We have corn stalks, so we have the ability to bale straw, air quote, straw, out of corn. We also have anhydrous ammonia here. We have fermented alfalfa, so alfalfa silage. We have regular alfalfa and then dried alfalfa in alfalfa hay. We have rye. We have compost. Now this says canola. I think this means canola straw, given the context of what is directly below it. We also have soybean straw, clover windrow, and clover hay windrow, or dried clover. And then as far as our platinum expansion, we do not have the ability to sell platinum expansion items, other than we do have long planks. So we do have the ability to do long planks, but other than that, we do not have the ability to sell any of the other platinum expansion stuff. Well, let's toss another exception in: wooden beams. Okay. Then if you are playing with pumps and hoses, we do have the ability to sell your separated manure. We start out with one vehicle. The vehicle overview screen is pretty short here. We own a 1986 pickup truck. It has next to no hours on it, therefore it's very well maintained and has optimal value, but that is all we own. We also do not own any animal pens at the start because we do not own any farmland at the start. We do have contracts available. We do not own any production chains, and we do have the 100 Elm Creek collectibles. I would say let's go ahead and take a look at the starting fleet. It's going to be a pretty quick look. There you go. We have our 1986 pickup truck. We also do not have any leased items. And if we take a look at our mods and DLCs, we do have one entry for the American Falls map. That is, we can buy an IBC tank of propane. Not really sure I want to be anywhere as close to an IBC tank with 2,000 liters worth of propane in it. But if you're willing to do it, you can buy it right here at the vehicle shop on American Falls. At this point in our video, we would typically do a look around the starting farm. Given the fact that this map really does not have a single starting farm, which I think is a perfectly fine design choice for the map author. And the fact that you have multiple farms available to you, you can pick the one you want. That's the one you can buy. And then that's the one you can start at. The downside to that is in new farmer mode, you're going to 100% going to need to be taking out a loan. And you might need to be maxing out your loan in order to have enough money to, 1, buy the farmland, 2, buy the farm, and 3, buy some starting equipment. Or you're going to be grinding in order to do contracts to earn the money to do those things and not take out a loan. In farm manager mode, to start from scratch, you start with more money, but you also don't have then some of these buildings that are put down. But one thing I do want to point out is if we go back here to the PDA, we go to our lands area, farmland ID 51. That is where we start. We actually don't own the land that our trailer is parked on. I guess let's just say we're renting, I guess. If you wanted to buy the land out from underneath, the guy who owns it $312,000. It is going to get you a little bit of some forest area here. So you could start maybe doing a little bit of tree cutting in order to earn some extra cash. Now I've gone ahead and bought all of the farms that we talked about. And we're going to look at those during the flyover and drive around portions. But I do want to go ahead and take a look here at our build mode. We do have lots of custom buildings that are included with this map. So you can go and start in Farm Manager or start from scratch and build out your own custom farm with respect to the animal areas are already going to be there. You can sell those animal areas with a caveat, and we're going to get to that when we get around to looking at all the farms. We also do have some silos, specifically the fermenting silos. We've got a couple other grain silos that are also a part of the map. Containers, tools, extensions. We've got a barn garage that is available to us here. I suspect it's going to have a workshop trigger inside it. And then we have all standard farmhouses. We can sell the sleep trigger here, but it does not get rid of the trailer. As far as productions go, we have all the standard base game productions that we would expect. We also have seed production. Okay, we have custom seed production here. Then we have the spinnery. Not really sure why this is listed separate from the base game spinnery, because it is pretty much the standard base game spinnery. As far as sell points go, we have all the standard sell points. We do have a double entry here for the large greenhouse, orchards, and generators. Taking a look at the animals, we have all standard animal pens. And then we have all standard decorations. Taking a look at our painting textures, we do have some painting textures available to us. They are, for the most part, standard FS22 textures, and then standard FS22 plants. With exception, we do have the ability to basically put down field create, so we can make a field by painting it out. We can plow the land. We have cultivated soil. We have stubble tillage, and then we have ridge. So basically think planted potatoes, but we're not actually painting planted potatoes. We're just planting the ridge textures. Let's also jump back a little bit and take a look at our soil map and see how it is being applied to these fields. Now, while this map does have a custom soil map in the map zip itself, we do see once we expose it here on the fields that what we're actually getting is the generic US-based soil map from the Precision Farming mod. And we can back that up a little bit more by pulling up the log. You'll see I have scrolled here up to the point in the log where it lists loading the soil map. And as you can see, it is loading the soil map from the mods folder, FS22 Precision Farming, soil maps, map us.grle. I'm not really sure why and what's going on, because we definitely have a soil map file in the zip itself, but for whatever reason, Precision Farm isn't seeing it, and therefore it's just loading the generic US-based soil map. Let's go ahead and get a little altitude, and we'll take a little look around. This map, there's a lot to like, just from an aesthetics standpoint. I kind of like how things are set up here. I really like how a lot of these farms are functionally set up. The distant scenery is rather interesting, where we have the hills off in the distance. We've got kind of snowy ridges, kind of more to the foreground. And when you are, kind of at ground level, right, you get a different perspective of that distant scenery than what you see when you get up here. Much, much higher than what any one player would ever be. So we have our farmhouse here and our trailer, right? And then we own the trees, and we come back along this way a little bit. The whole map is split in half by a kind of a raised train. I have seen a train off in the distance. Now, I'm not really sure if it runs up and down this train line, because I may have been way off. Yep, there it is. It's like I may have been way off to the east or the west when I saw it. But it is a nice kind of long train, at least. I'm not really sure if we can rent the train and drive on it, but it is available. Always love seeing longer trains here in Farm Sim. And, well, while we're at it, we might as well give our obligatory freebie as far as the collectibles go. Now, this map has 16 productions built in. A little bit more on that here in a moment. Here we have the dairy farm. And as I mentioned in farm manager mode, or start from scratch, a lot of these individual buildings are missing. But the kind of custom cow area, the slurry area, and the fermenting silo and those silos, they remain, because other than the fermenting silos, all of the other stuff kind of is tied to the cow area. Now, in addition to needing to buy the land, if you do want to make use of these fermenting silos, you'll have to also purchase those as well. It is not tied to the land. That buying the land will grant you access to the fermenting silos on the land. You will need to buy those individually. Kind of across the street and over to the east a little bit, we have the pig and chicken farm. I like this long lane coming back here to the farm area. Nice custom animal pen. Would be nice if we could put these down, but I also understand why maybe it's not necessarily been set up for that, because they are rather large and have been designed specifically for where they are placed. This farm also has a fermenting silo that you will need to buy. Then over here we have a custom chicken area. Again, we'll get more into detail on that as we do our driving portion of the video. So with respect to production, there are 16 production items built into the map. We have a sawmill, spinnery, carpentry, grain mill, seed production. We have a dairy, a BGA. We have 6 large greenhouses and 3 small greenhouses. Here we have a sell point. We have our animal dealer. Also, really like these fields. We've got lots of irregularly shaped, natural feeling and naturally looking fields that kind of follow the contour of the land. Where we've got kind of areas where we got trees to kind of split things up. We have drainage rows, other things set up here to kind of just separate out just one giant kind of square or rectangular field. To the south, we have one of our 2 town areas. We have our sawmill below. We have a fuel area. Some sell points. Here we have our seed production. We have our vehicle dealer. Going over to the western southern side of the map, here we have where we can buy our propane. We have our carpentry. Remember that one viable farmland I said was just a shed and a silo? Well, here it is. So we have our shed, silo. Then we own this part of the land back here where these trees are. Then it kind of hooks around between the fields and comes back down around. A very large grain sell point there. We have our dairy below, as well as a farmer's market sell point. Coming up the western edge of the map, I have seen the fields have some rolling nature to them. They're not super hilly, though. Here we have what I was calling the old arable farm. And I think you can tell kind of why I was saying that based on these buildings as compared to some of the other kind of more modern looking buildings that we've seen at the other farms. Then that particular arable farm also has a seed buy point. Okay. Over here we have kind of a more modernized American, or not American, but a more modernized arable farm. Something that I think has been really well done here on the map is the attention to detail on these rivers and waterways. It's really worth just kind of driving around and just exploring the map and taking it in from various angles and such. We even have, we got fish. Raz, we got fish in here. Where'd he go? We got fish. There he is. There he is. We got fish. Fish confirmed. No, you can't. You can't fish the fish. They are confirmed. Here we have the sheep farm. Now, the sheep farm does have a fermenting silo. Oddly enough, the entirety of the sheep farm is set up as one whole thing. And in theory, you should be able to sell the entirety of the sheep farm. But it's not working. I'm not really sure what's up. I'm sure it's going to be fixed in an update. Just want to show you, we do indeed 100% own Farmland 24. Right? We do indeed own it. So if I come in here to build mode, okay, and we just pick on something, right? We just click on it. All right, we can't do anything with it, right? Well, if we hit demolish, then we click on it. Wait, do you want to sell the sheep pen? Yes, I do. Okay. Now if I pick on it with demolish, nothing happens because it's gone, but it's still here. So I'm not really sure what's up with this. So I'm sure that'll be fixed in an update. If you're wanting to completely wipe this whole sheep farm out and build your own, not going to happen, at least not with this update. Here is those two buildings I was talking about earlier, Farmland 80 and 81. If we own them, we still can't do anything with these buildings. They're just kind of deco buildings. I'm hoping and thinking that something will be coming in a future update that'll make these buildings useful. Otherwise, I guess you buy them and you can put down a placeable sell point or something else with them. Use them in some sort of role play. Got another sell point below there. Here we have some of our greenhouses. Right, so we have 6 large greenhouses. There they are. There's our 6 large greenhouses. And somewhere scattered around here on the map, we have 3 small greenhouses. Here we have our BGA. As I typically try to do, is buy the BGA, buy the land, and see if we can sell it. The triggers do not pop up until we buy the land. So let's go ahead and buy 40 for $130,000. Right now we have the land. We now own the biogas plant, as you can see here. But if we sell the biogas plant, it stays. It's just like the sheep farm. Not a big deal. It's not going to impact the score, right? But it may impact your decision because you may want to redesign the BGA. And if that's your intent, that's not going to happen. So let's make our way quickly back, kind of down to the southern part of the map where we do have our vehicle workshop. We'll get our dealer, we'll get our Mahindra, and then we will do our drive around. So we're going to give the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're going to be giving the map a full point with respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, production items, and animal outputs. With respect to can the farms be customized? Well, we're going to talk about that a little bit later as we go around to more and more of those farms. But the gist of the fact is it's hit or miss. It's hit or miss, and that's how I'm going to describe it. It's hit or miss as to if we can or can't sell certain things at the certain farms. Lots of the farms, we can sell a lot of things, but there's still kind of hit or miss. Some things kind of remain around. Don't have the greatest area here for our vehicles to spawn in at, quite frankly. Given the size of some of these fields and the general nature that those playing with on American maps want to usually go bigger than smaller, not a lot of room here for things to spawn in at. We do have our dealer trigger clearly marked. It's nice to see, right? I don't think that's too much to ask. Now, as far as getting out of here, we've got a little bit of a gate here. Not super narrow, but a little bit of a gate. We got some guardrails up close here. So not the widest of roads, but also not the narrowest either. We do have bi-directional traffic. So if you are getting something big, you may want to turn off your traffic. Let's go ahead and roll on out. And I think what we'll do is we'll go kind of counterclockwise. We have two main roads that connect the southern part and the northern roads together. And I think we'll just hit both of those. Now, right across from the shop, we've got this nice old style deco barn connected right here next to field 25. It is tied to the same farmland as field 25. We can't sell the building, so it's just deco. It would be nice if we could sell the building. It's not in any way going to deter the score. I'm just seeing this area as kind of a deco area, but it would be nice to be able to sell that building if we own the land. That way we could, in essence, let's say, tear down the old barn that no one's using and either make use of that space for something else or maybe expand our agricultural land. Do something positive with it, right? Crossing the railroad tracks, really nice doing that. This is our seed factory. Okay. So we have our dump point for our seed factory. We have our pallet spawn point here for our seed, and then we have our interactive icon. I want to go ahead and buy the seed factory because I wanted to show you the production, because this is a custom production with the map. We can take wheat, barley, oat, canola, soybean, maize, corn, or sorghum, and we're going to then combine that with solid fertilizer and manure. 120 units of input is going to give us 100 units of seed output. But basically, any of our grain crops can go into here, toss in a little bit of fertilizer, a little bit of manure, and we're going to get seed out. You did see in the build mode portion, we can also put down the seed factory if we wish. Just kind of shoot across real quick. Close guardrails. Right? Kind of like that. Protecting the buildings that are up close to the road from errant drivers. Not that we have any of those in Farm Sim. We've got one of our grain sell points located right here. Right across the street, we have a log sell point. Located right here. This is not the sawmill, like I said initially. This is just a log sell point. We have one of our fuel stations located just north of that. And then just north of that, we have one of our Anhydrous buy points. Now, I did do a video quite a while back. It's going to be in my new and noteworthy mod review playlist of several mods that you can use to add and to use Anhydrous. Would encourage you to go check those out. There are several mods that are going to help you out with using the Anhydrous that is here as a fill type. So behind the fuel station, we do have a sell point. Then we also have another sell point located over here. And then one more in behind it. Now, this building, I was looking at this building during the flyover, because this building looks an awful lot like it could be something useful. But just like 80 and 81, it is a static building that is on viable land. I've bought the land. There's nothing going on here. Nothing pops up. We can't get rid of the building, but we could put something down. If we had placeable production triggers, what about that for an idea? We have placeable production, but it's not a building. It's just the triggers that you need in order to do the production. A dump point, a spawn point, interactive point. Presto, you're done. Build your own production and make it work for the map. I mean, that's a great idea. Alright, let's spin your way to the north. And we'll start checking out some of these farms. While we're on our way up here, let's kind of look at the ground from the driver's perspective. There's a whole lot to like about this map from a visual standpoint. We got our cow farm over here to our right. And something Lancyboi has been kind of known for a long time is his water. It was kind of a little... do we have it? Is that it? I made a little light of his maps in FS17 because it seemed like there was always somewhere where we had water that was like a dumping ground for stuff. Like, you know, old cars are kind of like tires, trash, junk like that. And what do we have over here? Oh, we have an upside down boat. I thought maybe we had like a bus or something kind of stuck in here. So, good to see there. But if you go back and check this FS17 maps, I think you'll agree. You're going to find like areas where you just drive on the road and then, oh, this is the dumping ground. So we've already talked about on any farm that has a fermenting silo, you don't have to only buy the farm, you also have to buy the silo. Nothing wrong with that, just something you need to be aware of. We've got our AGI silos back here. Now these are for the AGI pack. I don't know what happens if you don't have the AGI pack, if these appear or don't appear. The AGI pack is not a required listing, at least that I know of. We got our dump point, and then we have our fill over here. We're going to need an auger to get it out of the fill there. I just like this. I like how this is all set up. We got stuff spread out. We got kind of grass growing in here. Bale storage, vehicle storage, implement storage. We have our liquid slurry tank here. And then we have two silage bunkers. Do note, one of them is for chaff. One of them is for alfalfa. The one on the left, that one's going to be for chaff. The one on the right is going to be for alfalfa. And we have some of the newer, more modern custom sheds here that Lancyboi created. They're really nice looking. I don't know if there's a placeable pack with these sheds. If there isn't, I hope there is one soon. Hope there is one soon because these are really nice. They are using the newer technique for textures. There's our entry door. And, well, they look good. Something we can't get enough of in the mod hub is American style buildings. We've got our water fill point. We have our food trough. We have our straw trough. We have our manure heap over here. So manure is going to spawn over there. And then this cow area is going to be good for 200 cattle. Right there. Now, it is possible to sell the animals. I mentioned in farm management mode or start from scratch, this farm is void of most of these buildings. See the buildings that pop up blue? Okay. Those are the buildings that are going to be here and are part of this map in Farm Manager. Nothing that's blue, okay, things that don't pop up blue, they, for the most part, are not here in Farm Manager mode or start from scratch. But this area is. Now, when I click it, right, we can rename it. We have a cow there. We can't sell it right now. If I hit demolish, it would turn red, right? We should be able to. Yeah, we can't sell them. This is where we could sell this, but there is a ginormous caveat to this. One, if you sell the cow area because you want to change how this farm is laid out, which is perfectly fine. Perfectly fine if you want to do that. The manure heap's trigger stays. You may or may not be able to place things down because the manure heap trigger is still here. Certain parts of the fence is going to stay. This barbed wire fence stays. Fences associated with the barbed wire fence stay. So it is something to be aware of. You can get rid of a lot of the buildings, but some of these ancillary decorative things are going to remain, at least for this cow area. You can sell all these individual buildings all you want. They'll go away just fine and dandy. Here we have our milk trigger. And that trend is somewhat repeated at the other areas. We already talked about the sheep farm. That's pretty much a no-go with respect to selling it. I think it's just coated. A little mistake in the coating that could probably easily be fixed in a pretty quick update. Could probably also fix the fences and the gates on those animal areas. Those kind of being sold when you sell those buildings. That could probably also be resolved in a future update. So, not super game-breaking, but if you are a player that does like to customize things, it is something to be aware of. Down here at our pig farm, we have our trigger here. And the same is going to hold with respect to the gates down here. We can sell this giant pig area. In fact, let's go in here. If it lights up blue, all right, we can sell it. When we sell the pig area, I think like this whole pig farm can go away. If it lights up red, right, and I hit sell, it's going to vanish. Right? Except, you'll notice, some of these things aren't lighting up red. The fences are lighting up red, but the gates are not. Okay, it might be easier to see with blue. Okay, so if it doesn't light up blue, it doesn't go away. Just a note. So we have 200 pigs. And it may not matter to you, but it will matter to somebody. That's why I bring it up. Here we have the manure heap. We have our slurry trigger. Between these two buildings, we have our food. And there we go. We got this nice, large, open area. Got a little fuel tank. Nice root crop storage. Bale storage. We have our fermenting silo to go ahead and buy. We have our dump point, fill point, and interactive trigger there. And then once again, we have a bunker here. This is set up for alfalfa. This would be a decent map for a casual multiplayer. Right? I think you can easily have 4 or 5 different players kind of working each individual farm, doing their thing. There's not a giant number of fields, though. So it would be good for a multiplayer where you gotta build up. You know, you don't start with a ton of money, because then you have kind of a tension of someone scarfing up a bunch of land and then no one else having any room to expand. But I think it would be an interesting capability for a multiplayer. So we have our spinnery located right here. Came up on me a little quick. We got our interactive icon. We have our dump point and pallet points on the other side of the building. This is where we have our farmhouse, our farm trailer, and our pickup truck around the back. Trash pickup doesn't seem to be happening. And then to the right, we have the modern arable farm. Rough road. Now, I'm thinking possibly there is maybe a building that's supposed to be here. I don't know why we would have a trailer. Collectible just kind of right there, floating in the sky. It feels like maybe there should have been a building there. I don't know. Maybe a small shed. Nice storage. We have our silo, dump and fill point. Okay, other nice buildings. We have our water point, little fuel point. And that is it. Everything you need for an arable farm. Wooden collectibles and all. Pretty much everything here does sell. So, given the caveats of what we've discussed already with respect to the various farms and what we've seen already on the various farms, and as I said, it's kind of hit or miss. I'm going to give the map a 0.5 on farm customization. There are areas that you can definitely customize. There are areas that you definitely cannot customize. There are areas where there's some trade-offs on making those customizations. And as such, I feel half a point is fairly fair on that. Trying to get out of here. Same time, show you, like I said, really well done waterways. So here we have our sawmill. We're at no point for our wood. We have our wood cell trigger. We have our interactive icon back there at the door. We have our wood chip point. We have our pallet spawn point right here to the right. We also have a fuel right there. And then in behind the fuel is the sheep farm. Remember, we tried to sell the sheep farm. Didn't sell. Triggers are still here and everything. Right? Really nice sheds. We have our water point. We have our sheep buy point. The triggers are still here, but I can't buy them. They can put 200 sheep in here. It's kind of a common trend with the animals here on this map. 200 per. Here we have our wool, right here at the corner. We have our food for the sheep. Fermenting silo. Once again, we're going to need to buy that. Nice sheds. And another alfalfa bunker. We're making alfalfa silage. Overall, really nice. I like this. I like these stone foundations on this. I like how we have pseudo common theme with the farm buildings, but they are different enough that I don't feel that they're, you know, cookie cutter. Here's the building for your machinery. Here's the barn storage for your bales. Let's check out, see what this particular sell point is named. Here we have Better Earth Products and Falls Garden Center. So Better Earth Products is a buy point for lime, manure, compost, solid fertilizer, seed, potentially other products, possibly liquid products. And we have our sell point here around the back. Keep an eye out for all those collectibles. I've seen several collectibles here already. And then we have our 5 greenhouses. Once we own the land, we will be able to make use of these greenhouses. They are standard greenhouses. This waterway here, it's just, I like this. First, I haven't really seen this type of design or noticed this type of design anywhere, where we have these kind of water breaks. I don't know what you call those. We got a downed tree there, right? It's just some rocks. Really well done. I'm not sure what the flashing is there, but at any rate. Buildings where appropriate are using the new texturing technique. Yes, indeed. I do feel that they are. And we have our biogas plant. Once we buy the land, these triggers will pop up, as we have seen. 2 digesters. We've got 1 large 3-sided bunker. Now, I just want to see, is this chaff? It is indeed chaff. So far, we've seen a lot of alfalfa silage bunkers, and not a lot. I don't know about not enough, but not a lot chaff bunkers. Right, we have a dump point there for our manure. We have another buy point for Anhydrous up here at the BGA. Electric charging station. And that's going to do it. We got methane over there. Now, let's make our way down this road. Conclude down at the kind of the bottom southwest of the map. Here we have the old arable farm, as I have called it. Got a little bit different layout as far as structures go. We have a seed buy point. If you do own this farm, you can sell this building, right? So you could sell the seed buy point. And again, we've got kind of a little different layout. We got different stone foundations here. Different sidings. None of these farms have farmhouse triggers. Of course, you can always put those down. Right, fairly basic. I don't think we've got a silo down here. We just have that seed buy point. Lots of the land can be bought, so like we could buy little houses, land that has the houses on it, make our farmhouse somewhere other than right at the farm as well. Man, collectibles literally everywhere you look. Literally everywhere you look. So we have our dairy. Base game dairy. As far as production goes, the seed is really the only custom production that I noticed with respect to looking at the production. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point there around the back. Pallet spawn point over on the side. Behind that, we have then a farmer's market style sell point. Definitely lots of places to sell your products. Here we have the shed and silo kind of farming area. That's all it is. Shed, silo, and some land with trees on it. Right next to that, we have our carpentry shop. So we have our pallet spawn point, ground point, and interactive icon are going to be on the other side. So with respect to player and interactive areas being clearly marked, we're giving the map a full point there as well. So that's going to give this map, if you keep in score, 4.5 out of 5. Where really the only thing that we knocked any points off for was where we had things stick around that we couldn't sell. Kind of hit or miss at all the various farms. There was something here, there was something there that we couldn't sell. So we took a half point off overall. If you don't customize farms, then it's not a big deal. But there are people that do, and there are people that are going to want to know that, and that's why we pointed it out. So we have our propane buy point here. And guys, there you go. There you have it. American Falls. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Is this going to be your next playthrough? Are you adding this to the list of maps, the ever-growing list of maps that you want to get to, but realistically, maybe don't have enough time in the day to get to? That problem, well, that's a very real problem that lots of us do indeed have. And until next time, happy farming.